give us your view, in any case, your take on the importance of Captain Ibrahim Traoré and the Sahelian group of presidents with Niger and Mali, and tell me what you think the importance of that for Africa as a whole might be.
So I would thank you first of all for having me, George. Finally, but yeah, I would use the words of one of my brothers who said that Ibrahim Traoré is an archetype of revolution, a revolutionary archetype for the 21st century. And I agree and believe that with all my heart. You know, what you see happening in the Sahel is what should have happened in the 50s and 60s, because as far as I'm concerned, what happened in those 50s and 60s when we were told we had independence was basically just charades. It meant nothing because you have a country like France signing something very sinister like the Pact for the Continuation of Colonization with all the 14 French colonies in Africa that implied they had to pay the foreign reserve to Banque de France in Paris, and then 85% of it paid, and they were left with 15%, and then they had to go borrow from their own money at a very high interest rate. And so Africans have always had this feeling of being caged in their own skin. We've always had this feeling of still being colonized because we don't get any benefit of an independent nation, you know, from any African country. And then we started seeing all these truths and being revealed. And then all of a sudden you see an African country that suddenly shows up, you know, in the Sahel. You see people like Ibrahim Traoré doing some of those things that you can't find other African countries doing. Ibrahim Traoré showed up on the scene and now had the audacity to say, look, we are going to nationalize our oil, our gold mines. We are going to do this and do that and do that. And people are like, whoa, these are the kind of things that get you killed. Okay. And then he's doing it and he's getting away with all these things. And so when General Langley did what he did, because Ibrahim Traoré has been there since 2022. But remember that the firestorm you see on social media today started when Langley went there to the Congress, and then he was saying that this guy is using the money he's making from gold to protect himself and not to better the life of the people. And then Africans were like, whoa, we've been here before, deja vu. They called the dog a bad name because they want to kill the dog. So we're not going to stay alive and let this happen again, because this is exactly what played out when they took Muammar Gaddafi out. That's when Africans rose up and said, never, ever, ever again. We would not allow this to happen on the continent of Africa. So in a nutshell, what you see happening in the Sahel is the true reflection of what African independence should look like. Independent nations that actually can decide, okay, how they want their destiny to look, what they want their nation to look like, who they want to go into partnership with, you know, and nobody will be able to tell them, no, you can't do that. No, nothing like right of first refusal or anything. They are totally and completely in charge. So in a nutshell, that's what I think is going on in Burkina Faso, and why I believe everybody is right here today to support them.